Hi, welcome everybody to the Electric Education Center, session 19, fall protection. This week I want to expand on a subject that I brought up at the last session, and that is falls on the job. Falls are the number one reason for deaths on a job site. It's number one of the focus 4 items. The focus 4 items are the top 4 ways that workers are killed on the job, and they are falls, getting caught in or between, struck by anything, falling, swinging, rolling, and the number 4 is electrocution. Top 4 ways that you could buy the farm on the job site. So as the most common cause, what can we do to prevent injuries and deaths due to falls? Well, let's start with the 3 main ways to prevent falls. And they are, number 1, safety nets. Number 2, guardrails. Number 3, personal fall arrest systems, PFAs, or harness, in other words. Those are the 3 main ways. You know, I show a video in my OSHA 10 class that we start off with it rather early, and then we discuss it in the classroom, and it shows a worker standing on the top of a step, on the top shelf, actually, of a 12-foot ladder. He's not on the top step, it's the top shelf, the top surface. There's a co-worker standing below on one side of the ladder, and there's a bench seat and a square trash receptacle below on the other side of the ladder. The setting in the video is typical for a commercial office building or a shopping mall that has a high ceiling. So something goes wrong. The worker loses his balance and he falls backwards off of the ladder. While he's on his way down, the co-worker goes to steady the ladder. Well, it's a little late, dude, but that's not the thing you're going to do anyway. That wasn't going to help this guy. So what did the worker land on when he fell? That's correct. He drove the corner of the square trash receptacle right into his backbone and kidney area. Lights out. Worker is dead. You can Google that. You can look that up online and watch it for yourself. So, Rich, which of these 3 ways you mentioned would have prevented this guy from falling and would have saved his life? Well, certainly not a harness. There was nothing to hook onto. Not a guardrail. There's no way for that to be set up. Not a net system like you see at the circus. Nope. So what's the answer, Rich? The answer is that he should not have been using a ladder in the first place. He should have used a single man lift or a scaffold or a scissors lift. Using any one of those 3 items would have made it possible for this guy to still be on the job today, earning a living and enjoying life with his family. Any one of those 3 items. Anything other than that stupid ladder he was on. If he did have to use a ladder, he would have had to use it correctly. And that is, you don't stand on the top shelf and you don't stand on the last step up there either. The second step down is the furthest your feet can go on an A-frame ladder. Read the directions that you get with the ladder. That way you have something to lean into and keep your balance. All right, so let's discuss these 3 fall protection types. Note that generally working at heights over 6 feet requires fall protection. First, we have the safety netting. This idea is similar to what you've seen them use for the trapeze artist in the circus. Safety nets have to be provided when the working surface is more than 25 feet above the ground or the water surface. Yeah, that's right. Bridge work is a popular place for netting to be used to break falls and catch the worker. Nets are used when other methods are impractical or don't provide enough protection against the falls that are anticipated. Safety net systems have to meet certain criteria. If the fall area is up to 5 feet, the net has to extend out to 8 feet horizontally from the work area. If the fall area is 10 feet or more to reach the net has to extend out to 13 feet horizontally from the edge. The safety nets generally have to be tested with a drop test of a 400-pound bag of sand, 30 inches in diameter, to prove that it can do what it's supposed to do. Nets are also used in addition to other fall protection for bridge work, even if the workers are harnessed and clipped off. You can never be too careful. The second way to prevent falls is guardrails. Guess what? If you stay inside the guardrails, you can't fall and get hurt. Simple as that. Generally, the guardrail consists of a top rail, a mid rail, and a post. Guardrails must be used to protect the employees from falling through holes, including skylights that are more than 6 feet above the lower levels. You know, there's another story that you can Google. A senior technician for that TV show Mythbusters, they were doing a recording at a warehouse in California, and the technician backed up and fell backwards and fell right through a skylight and down 22 feet and dead. Like I said, Google it. Each employee on ramps, runways, and other walkways must also be protected from falling 6 feet or more to lower levels. You know, one sad story, my brother Mark was working a job in North Jersey, and residential houses going up, residential project. And a siding guy or a gutter guy came in the second floor window from the outside, and his eyes were not yet adjusted. And he walked right off the unprotected edge of the second floor landing, you know, one of those houses with the high cathedral ceilings in the foyer. Well, like I said, his eyes weren't adjusted, and he walked right off that landing, broke his neck, and died on the job, right there on the job site. This here, putting up these guardrails of any sort, you know, for $24 worth of 2x4s, this poor sap could still be alive today. You know, I don't get it. I don't get how people don't know about these things, or if they do know, why they don't do them. Is it too much trouble, or you figure, you know, let the guy fend for himself? I don't know what it is, but I certainly know that there's not enough inspectors out on the jobs. There's not enough OSHA inspectors out on the jobs. That is guaranteed. So, all right, so that's that story. Each employee working above dangerous equipment, even if it's less than 6 feet, must be protected from falling into or onto the dangerous equipment. This would include any rotating machinery that can chew up a body, or it could be a vat full of flour or sugar or hot melted chocolate. You can say, Rich, guys have died that way? Oh, yeah. Google that too. Guardrails must also be used in hoist areas, you know, where workers could be raising or lowering materials onto or off of a roof, for example. They need guardrails there also. Generally, the guardrails are constructed at a height of 42 inches plus or minus 3 inches above the walking or working level. When conditions call for it, the top edge may exceed this 45 inches. For example, when the employee is wearing stilts that are 36 inches in height, the top rail also has to be raised 36 inches. But basically, the top rail is at 42. The mid rail is just that, midway between the 42 inches and the working level, or 21 inches. How strong must these top rails be? They have to withstand a force of 200 pounds applied outward and downward at any point along the rail. How about the mid rails? Well, they have to withstand at least 150 pounds outward or downward at any point along the mid rail. The third way to provide fall protection is by use of PFA's, personal fall arrest system, or body harness, in other words. Just a note here that back in 1998, 23 years ago, the use of just a body belt, that's a belt around the waist tied to a rope, that was named as being unacceptable. The harness must be used, and the harness that's used today must meet the requirements of the D-ring strength, the webbing strength, the web material must be synthetic, the free fall distance must be limited to 6 feet or the lower level, whichever is less. There has to be a deceleration distance of 3.5 feet max, and the harnesses have to be connected to an object or a line that can support the falling weight of the worker. Now, there's all kinds of harnesses. There are inexpensive $99 harness kits available at Home Depot or Lowe's that are good for homeowners who desire not to fall off their roof while cleaning out the leaves from the gutter. At the other end of the spectrum, for union construction projects, you can pay up to $500 for the harness that has all the bells and whistles, like shock absorber action. As an aside to this subject, there was a movement to require installation of an anchor point on all new home construction for the attachment of these harness lanyards. Maybe somebody can let me know what's required in your part of the country. But this is the this is the basic harness here that comes with this $99 kit. Like I said, you have this D-ring that's supposed to end up right between your shoulder blades, and this is what you'll be hooking onto the clamp on the lanyard itself. All right, and then the lanyard is attached to the anchor point. Like I said, it has to be a man-made fabric here. It can't be a natural fabric. All right, and follow the directions. They tell you how to adjust it. Something as simple as this could have prevented many deaths that have taken place along the way. Well, Rich, why aren't they doing something about it? I don't know, dude. I keep telling you, I don't know. I'm doing the best I can. I'm trying to tell everybody to wear these harnesses and keep yourself from falling off a roof, et cetera, et cetera. And some people either never get the message or they choose not to listen to it. So that's all I can tell you. The next subject is warning line systems. Once you understand what the warning line is, you'll recognize the number one violation when you're driving past these roofing projects. The warning line system is required to be set back 6 feet from the edge of the roof. It's there to remind you that if a worker is going to be working within 6 feet of the edge of the roof, that worker has to be harnessed up, or there must be a guardrail in place to keep him or her from falling over the edge. So you will see these grand opening flag ropes type things set right on the edge of a roof. And at that point there, it's too late to remind them of anything. They're going over the edge. So these warning lines have to be 6 feet in from the edge of the roof. Now that you know what to look for, you'll be surprised at how many job sites are in violation of this rule. And again, I'm going to point out there's just not enough safety or OSHA inspectors out on the roads to catch all these jobs. So there are the rules for the construction of the warning line system, and there's other ways to protect the employees, like controlled access zones for floor laying and bricklaying operations. Safety monitoring system is another thing that OSHA says you can use. It's where one employee is assigned to do nothing else but monitor the workers on a roof to make sure they don't wander into dangerous areas or get too close to the edge of the roof. Covers for roof openings, floor openings, and other walking and working surfaces are ways to prevent employees from falling. So this information and much more, many more rules, are all available in the 29 CFR. That's the Code of Federal Regulations, 1926 OSHA Construction Industry Regulations. So you can get yourself this book here, all right? And it's not too bad. It's only 570 pages or so, and but this has all the rules that you need to stay safe on the job site. So there's many other rules that I cover in my OSHA 10 class. If you would like to attend a class or schedule a class for a group or a company, just contact Rich at electriceducationcenter.com. Stay safe. Van Wert out.